Margerie Taylor Greene had some choice words on Newsmax about the debt forgiveness.
But for our government just to say, okay, well, your debt is completely forgiven. Obviously, they have an agenda for that. They need votes in November.
Yeah, exactly. So what? I don't understand why this is a diss. I don't understand why this is a diss. This is not a diss. I hope that Americans are not so fundamentally brain broken that they go, oh, the government is doing a good thing for me. They must be doing it for my votes. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's precisely what they're doing, dumbass. That's how politics works. Americans have lost touch with the reality that that's how it's supposed to work. They're so brain broken into believing that, like, the government is never supposed to work for them, only for the corporations of the wealthy, that, like, the first time they do something, they're like, Republicans openly state that this is called bribery. Okay? Yeah.
So the timing is a pure coincidence there as well. But it's completely unfair. And taxpayers all over the country, taxpayers that never took out a student loan, taxpayers that pay their bills and maybe even never went to college or just hardworking people, they shouldn't have to pay off the great.
That's not how this is working, my man, my lady. That's not how that works. It's debt that the government owns anyway. Shut the up. The only people that can complain about this are people who are like, I didn't go to college because, like, I didn't have enough money. And maybe if I had like 10,000 or 20,000 in student loans that I could take out, that would have helped me. You know what I mean?
Big student loan debt for some college student that piled up massive debt going to some Ivy League school. That's not fair. But for our government just to say, okay, well, your debt is completely forgiven. Obviously, they have an agenda for that. They need votes in November. So the timing is a pure coincidence there as well. But it's completely unfair.
It's unfair. Barrel tighten in the wild. And the White House came back and popped off, said Congresswoman Margerie Taylor Greene had $183,504 in PPP loans forgiven. Oh my God, look at this thread. Oh my God, they're going after everybody. Oh, that's so good.
A lot of families in our region, they've been talking about forgiveness of loans for the last 4 or 5 months, are very, very upset. Many of them work 2 jobs to be able to put their kids through college, and then to think that a lot of these loans are going to be forgiven is wrong, and they're very outraged about it.
And because these folks paid up. They took care of their obligation.
Yeah, they took care of their obligation with their children. They felt like they did the right thing. Many of them working an extra job to be able to do that. And now they just feel outraged about where this is going. And this is not something the last couple of weeks. This has been going on for the last year, 6 months. They've been talking about.
Boom. Link to the thread. I already retweeted it. Congressman Vern Buchanan had $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven. Mark Wayne Mullen says, we do not need farmers and ranchers, small business owners, and teachers in Oklahoma paying the debts of Ivy League lawyers and doctors across the U.S. This places undue burden on those already suffering due to the weight of Biden's failed economic policy. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen had over $1.4 million in PPP loans forgiven. Representative Kevin Hern, to recap, in the last 2 weeks, the party of the people has supercharged the IRS to go after working class Americans, raise their taxes, and force them to pay other people's college degrees. Congressman Kevin Hern had over $1 million in PPP loans forgiven. This is great. Keep this up. Keep this up. This is good policy followed by good politics, okay? Keep this energy going. Turns out when you do nice things, okay, turns out when you actually do what you're supposed to do, which is help out the American people, even with crumbs in comparison to what you could do, which is a lot more, your approval rating jumps to 44% in a new Gallup poll. Biden's approval rating was so low. It was lower than Donald Trump. Why? Because Donald Trump always maintained 90% support in the Republican Party. A thing that I brought up so many times throughout his presidency. And every time I brought it up, you would have liberals go, what? Doy? Brandon's approval rating was lower than Donald Trump's because Republicans already despised him, as they would normally. Okay? But liberals hated him too. Liberals hated him because he wasn't doing shit. And then this is all it takes. A little bit. Just a little bit. Just a crumb. Oh, but those polls didn't matter to moderates when they were down. Line goes up, it's legit. Line goes down, it's just a poll. Who cares? No, of course they. Of course. It was bad. It was really bad. Part of the reason why they did this is because it was bad. You know who this helps? Teachers with student debt. Yeah, he completely ignored private loans, which is the real killer with interest as well. Yeah, there's more to accomplish in that situation, but there's a lot of people. It is bribery. The timing reveals why they're doing it. They're relying on short-term memory to make people forget about their awful administration. Wait, what do you mean? Yeah. What are you talking about? It's bribery. Yeah. Imagine if they did it more frequently, then you wouldn't say they're awful. You would not even say their administration is awful. If they bribed you further, you'd be like, okay, great. That's what it is. That's what's supposed to happen. That's politics, man. Why are Americans so fundamentally brain broken that you think like popular policies are somehow icky and wrong and bad? Stop. Stop. It's so wild that there are people who unironically toe that line, that legitimately think that there is something fundamentally wrong with doing good things that you promised you would do that helped you get elected to a certain degree. What the fuck? Stop it. I talked about this back in April when Mitt Romney originally popped off. It's only a moral hazard if we're doing debt relief for the working poor. It's never a moral hazard if taxpayer-funded bailout packages are built into the risk mitigation of mega corporations currently engaging in stock buybacks. Popular policies to win voters isn't bribery. It's your job. You do it for big corporations, the wealthy every single day, Republicans and Democrats both. But the moment it's for the working poor, they can't comprehend it. They're like, that's not allowed. That's bribery. That's up. And it's because American consciousness is so fundamentally broken from political inaction, so fundamentally brain broken from political inaction that when politicians actually do something, you're like, wait, that sounds wrong. That sounds so wrong. Dog, that's the point. That's what politics is. Stop falling into reactionary framing.